Welcome back, everyone, to Meth Psychosis Stories. This is going to be part one of the new meth psychosis experience. Anyways, I want to say as like a preemptive or whatever that I definitely do not condone the illegal use of drugs. I do not condone anything about it. Um, if you've watched my channel before, then you know I am a recovering addict, and I am also a pretty chronic relapser. Um, so that just, if you haven't watched, I've got a lot of stories from talking about meth psychosis from when I was a lot younger. But this is a very, very recent experience. I hope y'all like the backdrop. Here's Toffinator. Um, he's being kind of shy for some reason. But I love Penny or the It movies. It's like a reoccurring nightmare too. Is being chased by Pennywise. It's pretty cool. I don't enjoy it when I'm asleep, but whenever I wake up and think about it, I was like, wow, that was a pretty cool dream. Anyways, so I'm gonna get into the beginning of part one. So, as you know, I did have a lapse in my recovery. I'm doing okay now. I am pretty common to make bad decisions when good things happen in my life, which rebound and make good things turn into very bad things a lot in my past life or in my life. So I'm just gonna get to where it began. I made a bad decision and I started using meth, which I have not done in a very long time. Well, I mean, like 3 years. It's been like 2 or 3 years since the last time I messed up. And it always ends bad. It always goes to psychosis. And of course, Toffee is going to decide to clean himself while I'm trying to record a video. But, it comes with having Toffee. If I kick him out, he's just going to sit by the door and whine. So he wants to be involved in everything, and he thinks it's a good time to clean himself, which is not. It's freaking nasty, especially the sound he makes. Tough, stop, bro. Anyways, so I'm gonna kind of just, like I said, do this in little parts. I'm not gonna make them real long videos, but to begin with, it never starts within the first day or the first night. It's always the second day going into the second night that you start noticing stuff, and you're still in kind of the lucid mind frame where you're like, okay, this is coming from something that I did. I ingested horrible substances into my body, and this is repercussions of it. But as the time goes on, especially if you're not, fulfilling your basic needs for life, which is hydration, food, and sleep, it just gets worse. And eventually you start thinking everything is real. And for my case, I don't even realize that I've done anything anymore. And I am just in complete and total psychosis. So I'm going to kind of begin with the way it starts with me is the windows. I always think that I can see stuff, out the windows at night during the daytime. The way that it kind of started to begin with me was, I think, the beginning whenever I started to realize that I was thinking stuff that was like not logically happening was really happening was the second night. And I live in a trailer, 2-bedroom trailer by myself. And I was convinced that I'm pretty sure I thought it was law enforcement or like rogue cops or something were trying to come in my back door. So I'm standing there holding the doorknob, and I can literally in my hand feel the little turn knob start to turn, and I'm sitting there holding it with all my might, and I'm cussing them. I'm like, I don't even remember what I was saying. I was cussing, like, get out of my fucking house, blah, blah, blah. I was yelling, like, 2 o'clock in the morning, yelling through the door. And I'm out there turning the light on, and I see him out there. And then I'm like, I'm going to turn the light off. You ain't got no light. And I'm literally sitting there holding the doorknob, and I can feel somebody on the other end turning the doorknob and turning the little. I was convinced that they were picking the lock and turning the lever that locks it. So I'm literally holding it on the other side. I got a baseball bat. I'm holding the door, and I'm yelling through the door. I'm like, go away! It's my fucking house. And I'm sitting there and I'm holding it, and I'm like, you know what, man? I've been doing this for like 20 minutes, and I'm getting exhausted, man. And I'm like, you know what? If they're gonna come in, they're gonna come in. And so, I just step back and I'm like, all right, motherfucker, come on in. And I'm standing by the back door, the baseball bat. Nobody ever opens the door. As soon as I grab the doorknob again, though, I can feel that the lever start to turn. So my doorknob is actually really hard to turn, even when it's unlocked. It feels like it's locked. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna meet this head on, and I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna handle some business. So kept feeling it turn. I was like, you know what, motherfucker, fuck you. And I unlocked the door, fought the doorknob open, swung the door open. Nobody's out there. I wasn't so far out there that I was going to continue to see shit that wasn't really there. Now that comes on later on pretty freaking quick, but I was not at that point yet. It was like whenever I would do something that was balls up and I was ready to confront the fight or flight, and I was ready to fight, reality would kick back in and there was nothing there. And I'd look out there and I'd be like, all right, shut the door. And this kept going, and then I would go, there's a bathroom right across from the back door in my trailer, and it's got like a, one of those windows that opens up, and I was in there, and I could see people, like, it was like I could see people moving below the trailer on the outside, so I'm like, I gotta hang a fucking curtain. I hang the curtain up, put some push pins in it, and I spent like hours in there just listening to people. What felt like hours listening to people outside my door, and it finally got to the point where I was just like, you know what, fuck it, it is what it is. Come on in, and I just would go out there, and there wouldn't be nobody out there. Mind you, this is like the second night. I'm really starting to, lose touch with reality. And I remember, I think one time I thought I laid down, and this was something that was new that I hadn't really experienced before, which was periods of complete and total blackout. I would be, I know my house was clean because whenever I first started doing it, I cleaned my house like really good. Like it was clean, and within when I would lay down, it was like it was a split personality, and I would think I was laying down, but then another part of me, my other personality, would get up and start doing all kinds of stuff, and then whenever I would come back to, I wouldn't be recognizing anything that was going on. I'd be expecting it to be a clean house, and then there's a mess everywhere, and so that's whenever. Let's see. So this is still the second night. It's becoming daylight. I'm. I guess because I have made. I really don't know if this really happened, but I'm like 99% sure. I'd say about 90% sure that it did. And I don't know if it's because I was flashing my back porch lights or slamming doors or yelling through the doors, but apparently somebody did call law enforcement because I remember looking out the window and I saw headlights. There's a road that goes next to my house that's a separate road, and they just sat there. And then I saw two separate flashlights, and I had my front porch light on, and then I looked out there, and there was somebody standing at my porch. Obviously, it was not somebody that was really there, But I'm like, get off my fucking porch. And so I looked over to the right where the road is, and the flashlights start coming up. Well, I remember one of the flashlights was really freaking bright, and it wasn't like the LED flashlights that you see a lot now. It was like the almost like the orange old street lights, that color. Um, and then you also, the other one had the LED bright ones. Now, mind you, I forgot to mention this. I had broke my glasses. These had pulled them off, and the frame broke. I got them back together now, but I'm blind without my glasses. I'm very blind. Anyone that knows me without my glasses will know that I'm very blind without them, and that just compounded the what I was seeing, thinking if it's real, was it real, was it not real, and later on becoming everything was real. Um, so these two flashlights are coming up. Like I said, I'm pretty sure, like, and later on in the next edition, next couple editions, you'll see how I found out that this really did happen. Or pretty sure it really did happen. So I'm like, yeah, the cops are definitely here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go in the bed and lay down. And by this time, I was so like I was getting pretty far out there that I was kind of considering my dog like he was, like he could, like he was a human. Like I didn't think he was a human, but I was talking to him like he was because in my sane mind, I do talk to him, but I know he's not human. But I'm like, in this mind, I'm like getting to where it's like, wow, like I'm really talking to him and expecting him to help me figure out situations like a human. Yes, the Toffinator. He is a very smart dog, but he's not human. So, he's in here asleep because it's like normal life. He's living it. I'm not. Um, so I lay down, and mind you, I've got like curtains over every window um, in my house, but the front window, the one I was just looking out of, and you can't see from my bed in there. But I was getting so far out there that I could not because all the lights were off. I was like confused where I was at. I was like, damn, did I go into the wrong house? And like I'm really in the wrong house, and the cops are here, and they're about to arrest me for like midnight burglary and shit. And so I just lay down, and because it's dark, I cannot really convince myself that I'm in the actual right house. Like I'm freaking the fuck out, and I'm like, how the fuck did me and Toffee get into the wrong house? And so I remember seeing the flashlight, the orange one that looked like an old street lamp, was shining into my front my front light. I could see where it was shining in, but then I could see them walking around my bedroom on the outside with flashlights, and they were walking back and forth, walking back and forth. They never knocked on the door because mine it was like early in the morning, and somebody I guess called. Like I said, this there is a possibility this never happened, but I'll tell you later on something that I know happened and was brought up to make me think, okay, that did really happen. But so I just kept seeing them go through the like I kept my eyes closed, but I could see them shining the light through whatever they could get through, and then I could see that other light, the orange fluorescent one that was like an old street light, and I could hear him out there walking, and then I would hear him say something, and then I'd be like, I heard one of them say, "I've got movement," but they never would knock on the door. And finally, I just got fed up with it. I was like, dude, I've got to be in the right house. Like, how did I get into the wrong house and not remember it? But I was still kind of convinced. So finally, I just got up, looked out, and I seen a cop out there, and I was like, Toffee, the cops are here. And I'm talking to him like he's my friend, she is my best friend, but like he's a human and he understands exactly what I'm saying. And so I get up and I'm making Toffee get up with me, and I'm taking him to the door, which something I would never do. I would be like, the last thing I'd want him to do is be at the door with me if somebody's not, because I don't want him to bite somebody. I know he wouldn't, but you never know what kind of energy somebody's carrying and what he reads. So I'm easing up to the door. I still see the flashlights. It's still dark outside. And I barely make it up to the door. I'm dragging Toffee along. He's still half asleep. He don't, and that's another thing that makes me think it might not have been real in that moment, or it might have been real for a little while, and then I always just kept it going. But he would have raised hell if he heard somebody outside. And in my right mind, I'm like, I never even thought of that. So I'm dragging him up there, and I'm getting up the courage just to open the door and confront it. And um, I'm gonna leave it there for the next video. Y'all make sure you stay tuned for part two. Probably drop it later on today or tomorrow. But until next time, like I said, man, this is nothing condoning this. I know it's entertainment for some people, but I just want to let people know really how far out there your mind can go, especially off the meth they have now. Like I did meth back in 2004, and it would take so long for it to get you like this, like up a week for what it does for like a day and a half now. You know, I've talked to clinicians and counselors, and they told me that it's believed that the meth is so pure now that that the people that are cooking it aren't trying to get the bad stuff out of it, like the byproducts and everything, that make it less clean but more pure, like more strong but less clean, basically. And so they're leaving all that in there to make the weight more because it's so good they can do that. And that's a theory. And then there's the P2P theory. But either way, like now you just like it just makes people go crazy, man. And it's such a sad situation, man, because I see people several times, and all it is schizophrenia, man. All it is just your mind breaking down, and you're believing you're taking micro naps. You're believing like these little dreams that you're having are really happening, and I'm gonna get into that too. There's probably gonna be three or four, anywhere from three to four, on this series, and it's heartbreaking, man. But I really think that if I can reach one person that is like, wow, you know, that helped me, or I can relate to that, then all this can be observed as something good. I don't mind putting myself out there, um, because I mean, I didn't do anything that would get me in trouble for this, um, other than just being convinced that people were trying to kill me. If that was a crime, obviously, I wouldn't be able to speak on it, but I didn't do anything crazy. I was in fight or flight mode for the better part of like 2 days, after this. This is just kind of the build up, of it. But yeah, y'all, stay tuned for part two. Please, y'all, just comment. If I see comments, it makes my day, especially if it's positivity. Um, and don't forget to subscribe, y'all. If I could build my channel base up, man, I just have so many ideas of stuff that I can do, for positivity. I just want to. I really feel like if I put positive vibes out there, it's gonna help me get through this, because this has been a pretty hard downfall, man. I was really depressed for several days after, making this mistake, and I'll go into all the bad decisions that I made that, you know took all the hard work and just leveled it out over a couple of seconds that I had built up over years. So until next time, y'all, this is Mike Trum, and this is meth psychosis, and this is the Toffinator over here washing his ass in front of all y'all. So feel free to subscribe, like, and definitely comment. Over and out.